我が手に落ちろ。Moero! Justice Gakuen!
Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we're taking a look at Moero, Justice Gakuen, also known as Project Justice on the Dreamcast. This is the third game in the Rival Schools series. It was developed and published by Capcom and released in Japan in late 2000 and everywhere else in 2001. The plot is set 1 year after the first game when an evil ninja master named Kudo and his reverse society are trying to take over Japan. But instead of a military coup or political upheaval, they're going to accomplish this by beating high school kids in street fights. Somehow. Not exactly a very deep or even coherent plot, but in this case, it's forgivable. Project Justice has a lot in common with its predecessors, as you might imagine. The controls are more or less unchanged, with 4 attack buttons, a sidestep button, and special attacks pulled straight from Street Fighter. The same basic combo system is still in place, as well as air and ground recoveries and air combos. The most significant change made to Project Justice is that now your team of fighters is 3 deep instead of just 2. This means that you can not only perform tag team attacks, but also triple team attacks with a full super combo meter, which is really cool. Also, this time around, you're actually given a brief chance to counter tag attacks, which is greatly appreciated. There are 2 main modes to choose from aside from Versus: the story mode, in which you choose predetermined teams, and the free mode, where you mix and match characters however you like. The roster is decent with 20 characters to start, and more to unlock with most of the original cast returning, and some nice new additions as well. Overall, the gameplay in Project Justice isn't a vast improvement over the first 2, but if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. This is a really fun fighter with some outstanding gameplay.
I got it!
One mode that's only available in the Japanese release of this game is the character creation mode, in which you create, edit, and upgrade your own fighter. Unlike the previous games, which had a school sim mode for this, Project Justice uses a board game setup where your character and others move around the board trying to collect stat boosts, special attacks, and cards which can be used to get a leg up on your opponents. You can interact with other characters on the board who may help or hinder you in some way, and you periodically get into fights with your opponents, which is decided by a combination of your stats and a kind of slot machine feature. This mode can be fun for a while, but if you're playing one of the Western versions that doesn't have it, you're not really missing all that much. The focus of this game is the fighting, which is the same regardless of which version you're playing. There are still plenty of other modes to choose from, like tournament, league, and training modes, and it's all good. Again, the gameplay is spot on, and that's what's most important. Graphically, this is what you'd expect as a jump from PS1 to Dreamcast. Characters are rendered well with plenty of detail and some pretty smooth animations. There's lots of color and flashy effects like in the previous games, and the stages look much nicer. You're still fighting on an infinite plane, but the stage itself doesn't feel so disjointed from the background like in the first 2 games, so overall some really great visuals. The sound design, on the other hand, I don't think quite lives up to the original, which had an awesome soundtrack with a lot of really catchy tunes. The soundtrack in Project Justice isn't bad. It does feature a handful of good tracks, but most of them are just kind of flat and uninteresting. So good visuals and the sound design at least gets a pass. So on the whole, this is a really enjoyable game, and one I'd recommend to fans of fighting games in general, and Capcom fighters in particular. Taking a look online, the US and European versions of Project Justice are going for $100 and over these days, and it's hard for me to recommend paying that much. But the Japanese version goes for about half of what the other versions go for, and comes with an additional gameplay mode, so that's definitely the way to go. If you love rival schools and you have to have more, then definitely go for Moero Justice Gakuen. It's awesome.
しっかりしろ。今ならまだ間に合う。